How's it going, everybody? My name's Jason. Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to tie up this little green chironomid pattern. I don't really have a name for it. If somebody else has tied something that looks like this and has a name, let me know. Or if you've got a name that you think would be good, hit me up in the comments below and let me know. So under the vise we've got a Daiichi 1760. This is one of the Alec Jackson hooks, but it's just a Daiichi 1760 size 14. I'll tie these in 14s, 16s, 18s. 14 is just easier to film. Then I've got a 3/32 brass bead in a chironomid brown color. We'll be using some red flashabou. This one's actually cranberry, so it's a little darker red. Some chartreuse flashabou, a little bit of red wire, and UTC 70 and rusty brown. I'm going to put some gills on this fly. So we'll start our thread with minimal wraps. For the gills I'm going to use white glow-bright. So I've basically doubled that over twice, so we got 4 strands. We want to keep this real slim. Keep our thread wraps to a minimum. So the bead will have no problem sliding over it. We'll just give it a 2 or 3 turn whip finish. Go ahead and remove the thread, and our bead should slide right up on there with no problem, like so. Go ahead and get our thread restarted. Now we'll tie in the red wire rib. We'll just tie that right down my side of the hook shank. Right down to about where the crushed down barb is. You'll see me spinning my thread quite a bit in this video. The UTC, if you spin it counterclockwise, it flattens it out nicely. And you can keep these bugs nice and skinny. So next I'm going to tie in the red flashabou. We're just going to make a little red butt hot spot. This cranberry is kind of subdued, so it's not a real this cranberry is kind of subdued, so it's not a real bright hot spot, but just something a little extra. Couple of wraps behind, couple in front. Let me cut that out. And take my thread forward a few wraps. And we'll tie in the green. Well, that came out, that's okay. Tie that right down to where I want the red butt to stop. Then take our thread all the way forward and start building our taper. Now we've got our taper pretty well built. I'm going to go ahead and unwind my thread one more time. Try to make this body nice and smooth. Alright, I like that. I'm going to go ahead and whip finish here. Because I'm going to use the rotary function on my vise to wrap this body. Can't find my hackle pliers. There they are. Your first few wraps here, make sure you pay close attention to the point on the hook, as it will break this flashable off very easily. So we're just looking for nice close wraps, touching if you can get them touching. I'll take this right up to the bead. Go ahead and tie that off and snip it away. Alright, once you're sure, oh dang it, bumped my vise there. Hopefully, see if I can get us back in focus here. Now we'll wrap the wire. One right at the butt, and you're looking for, you know, 7, 8 wraps on these guys. It's not ultra important. The number of wraps is more for the tire than for the fly, but evenly spaced and kind of getting a little wider as you move up the body here and you get into your taper. Couple 3 wraps behind, couple in front. Keep tension on your thread and we'll just helicopter that wire off. I'm going to spin my thread flat one more time, and let's take a few more wraps. Almost done. We're going to go ahead and give this guy a coat with some UV resin. I like the Solarez bone dry stuff. It's really thin and has this nice little applicator brush, which is really convenient for these smaller flies. Just give this guy a nice thin coat. It'll give it some shine, and it'll protect those thin materials. The Flashabou is certainly not the most strong material ever. Give her a zap. And last but not least, we'll cut these gills back. I tend to fold them over the top of the bead and just cut them about the same size as the bead, and that seems to be a pretty good proportion. So that's it. Little Flashaboo bodied chironomid. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Thumbs up are always appreciated, and if you really like my content, please consider subscribing. We'll see you next time. Tight lines.